Hello, this is DJ Cherry Headache for Off the Record at WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh, and I'm here with Josh from Divine Right. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Josh. I do vocals on Divine Right from Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay. My first question is, so before you were in Divine Right, you were in Halloween Costume Contest starting in 2017.
Something like that, yeah.
How long have you been making music?
I think if I can date it, I think I started doing music around early 2015, I believe. I started writing in 2014, I'm pretty sure. But in 2015, I got a ukulele to have fun with, and then an acoustic guitar from my friend, and I was taking inspiration from solo artists that I liked, and just did really bad indie folk at the time on a old project. Ended that, started HCC, and did that from late 2017 until a few months ago, whenever I ended it. But yeah, that's
DIY till you die.
DIY till you die.
So, yeah, the sound of Halloween Costume Contest is very different from the sound of Divine Right.
Very.
But how did that happen? What was that transition like?
I mean, both of those genres have been a part of my life for a long time. Because I got into the hardcore, metalcore, etc. scene in late 2012, and then started going to shows in 2013. There wasn't really much of an indie scene where I was from. So my first show I went to was 15 minutes from my house in Spindale, North Carolina. And it was a hardcore show. And I just kept going to shows from there on out until where I am today. And it wasn't until I discovered Elliott Smith and Flat Sound and Paul Barebow that I was oh, I can just make music by myself with a guitar and put it out if I feel like it. But both genres have always impacted me. I still listen to both all day, every day, like I did on the way here today. And I've always wanted to be in a hardcore band, but where I was from, it was really nothing there for me, I guess. It wasn't really until I could drive and go to shows and make more friends that I started meeting people who wanted to be in bands. And so that leads us to where we are now with Divine Right and all the friends I've made ever since started going to shows and everything.
I saw in your interview with No Echo that it started because you tweeted about wanting to start a straight edge band.
Yes, that is what happened. I guess some backstory is that I became acquainted with our bassist Kale and our drummer Carson in early 2022, and Kale would shoot shows, and we were mutuals on Twitter and whatever, and so I'd seen them at shows, but never really became fully acquainted with them. And I made a tweet about wanting to start a straight edge band, and they got back to me about that. And I didn't really take it seriously at first until we scheduled a day to meet up and hang out and talk about it, and we did. And after that, our friend Reese from the Asheville band Iron Sights, he was the only straight edge guy that was kind of local that we knew that played guitar. So we got to talking with him about wanting to do a straight edge hardcore band, just straightforward hardcore. And so we went over to his place. We practiced a few times and tried to make something, but eventually it just kind of fizzled out because we all got too busy with everything. And that didn't change the friendship that I had with Kellen Carson. We continued to hang out after that. So it was meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, so in your tweet you said you specifically wanted to start a straight edge band, and you literally have a song called The X Has Yet to Fade. So has being straight edge always been something that's super important to you? What was that journey like?
Not always. I didn't really claim edge until October 2020. Prior to that, my brother Zach was straight edge, and I'd always been into like straight edge bands and everything, specifically Have Heart, who has always been an inspiration to me. People at my job will like ask me, like we'll talk about like being sober, being straight edge. I'm like, why'd you pick that? And I'm like, do I have to get into it? Really, it's just a matter of I've never had fun drinking, smoking weed, never smoked cigarettes. It never really, I was never really into that sort of thing. I never really had fun with it whenever I did do it. And I'm not really sure what made me want to quote unquote claim edge in the first place. I think I just had like a long sit down with myself about like the alcoholism that I had been around and the way that drugs mess people up and how it just wasn't my thing. And like in the end, I don't really care if anybody else does it. Like I have friends who drink and I have friends who like smoke weed and smoke cigarettes and everything. I don't have a problem being around it at all. It's just not my thing, and people respect that, and I respect whatever other people do. But in the end, it's really just a matter of like I don't feel like it. Like I don't really need it to be happy, so why should I have to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel since mainly playing shows in like the Charlotte area, is there a big straight edge scene to be supported by, or is it just kind of you guys?
Well, in Charlotte specifically, there's like us, and I do know some straight edge people that are like members of bands, but like the bands themselves aren't like straight edge, except for like Magnitude is like the only one that comes to mind really, because they were like the Charlotte straight edge band and everything at the time, and probably even now still the North Carolina straight edge band if we're gonna put labels on it. And I made a lot of friends who are straight edge, and I think someone came up to me at our show in February and talked about how he had claimed edge like a week ago, and like seeing our set was like powerful for him and everything, and that meant a lot to me. But Charlotte, it's like whatever. I think all across the state of North Carolina you'll find a lot of really cool straight edge people, and there are some good straight edge bands like the Triangle area, and even all throughout like the Southeast. But Charlotte, I guess in the end, it's just kind of Divine Right and Magnitude for the quote unquote Charlotte straight edge bands. But I'm hoping that within the next few years that people will continue to carry on the torch and start forming straight edge bands in the Charlotte area.
Absolutely. Is it important for you guys while you're booking shows to try and find local straight edge bands to play with as well, or is it just
it's not like crucial, cause like I have friends in bands who aren't straight edge bands, and they're like my best friends in the world. There's some bands who are like vegan bands, but they're not vegan straight edge bands. But in the end, for us, it's kind of just like if we love y'all, we love what you're about, we love the music, and we all support each other. Like, yeah, we'll definitely play the show if we can. But I while I do resonate with straight edge bands, it's not like we have to play with just like straight edge bands or vegan bands, etc. Yeah.
So, from just starting the initial Twitter conversations about a straight edge band to hanging out with people that would later become your bandmates, how fast was that turnaround? It seemed like one day you guys posted your first post and then already really locked in.
It was how long was it? Probably like I think it was like a year time, probably like because I became acquainted with Kellen Carson in like May or June of 2022. And it wasn't until like late fall 2022, like way after we had done that first project and we're going to shows and everything, that we met Mikey, who is our guitarist. He was going to shows. I think I'd first seen him at an Earth Crisis show in September 2022, but I didn't know who he was. I think there was a day that we were going to watch our friends in No Cure in Greensboro for the first time ever. Actually, like I did not know who No Cure. I was going for my friends in Your Spirit Dies, and now I'm like best friends with the No Cure people, which is awesome. So we went to that show. Mikey needed a ride, and I was like, oh, I don't know who Mikey is, but like it's whatever. And we became really good friends with him because of going to that show. And I'm not sure who threw it out that we wanted to start a band, but he was also very interested because he had riffs and still does to this day. So we had gotten to talking about that, and then it just like was like, okay, like we'll do it eventually, I'm sure. And then around a year ago, which is kind of coincidental, we were at the Angel Dust Jive Bomb Life's Question show at Snug Harbor, and Mikey was like, "Oh, I want to introduce you to my brother who just like moved back to Charlotte from LA, Zach, our other guitarist." So we had met him. We got to talking about it, talked about what we wanted to do, like genre wise, and he was very into it also. And he like took the initiative of getting a storage unit to that would be cool with us practicing in, and that was around June, like late June of last year, I'm pretty sure. So coming up on a year of just like forming as a band all together. And that kind of brings us to where we are today, actually, after all that initiative of meeting each other.
So, Halloween costume contest was a solo endeavor. Do you think you'll want to continue doing solo endeavors and exploring other genres, or is hardcore really what you're passionate about?
I actually thought about this the other day, so it's kind of funny that you're bringing it up. Like this is my first time, being in a like full on band for this long. I did a few other projects with friends in the past, but it never really turned into anything. But this Divine Right to me feels like an actual team, and we're actually supporting each other and doing what we think is best for each other, and we're all best friends on top of that. And we also like doing solo stuff for as long as I did. It kind of like I wouldn't say it necessarily like took a toll on me, but doing things by yourself is very expensive. Driving the shows, buying the instruments and recording equipment that you need. And in the end, I guess the reason why HCC ended is because I wasn't really having a lot of fun with it anymore. Because, like, doing it by yourself is, like, whatever, but it wasn't appealing to me anymore. But Divine Right, it feels good to have a lot of people behind your back just helping you out. And I guess a good example is, like, merchandise. Because, like, since we're 5 people, we can go 5 ways on buying merch and buying equipment that we need and everything. But by myself, like paying my bills, working, etc., like it was just really hard to make do with what I had, especially whenever I didn't have time to do it anymore from working. But since being in a band with 4 other people, we were able to like make schedules that work out for each other. It doesn't feel as stressful. And also, like, in the end, for me, it's just, like, way more fun altogether.
I know we mentioned earlier that a lot of you in the band work full-time jobs, and that makes it kind of difficult booking shows that are far away or at weird times.
Yeah.
Is the goal ever to have this be your main focus or career-wise, or is it just, like, passion project?
I think it depends, really. I think we've had that conversation before. All in all, we're just having fun with it. It's like if we do it for a long time, that's awesome. If we end it in a year, whatever. Like at least we had fun doing it. I would love to just make music full time if I could, but in the end, like I think what a lot of people need to hear is that it's like most of the time unrealistic. And I I don't want some people to hold on to hope that they'll be able to make music full time, because to a lot of people it's just luck altogether. Like, I have friends who are able to like not even work like regular customer service jobs because they would like make money off their music, which is awesome. But some people will look at that and try to run with it and try to do it themselves, and it's like it's not gonna happen that way. Like, I think for most bands, like, you really, really have to work for it. Like, I've seen a lot of bands play shows to like nobody for like, to play shows to nobody for like 5 or so years, and then finally like get some kind of a break. But in the end, for us, like, I'm fine with the job I have. I'm very passionate with that, and so are my bandmates. Some of them love what they do also. And if we're able to tour full time as a band, make a career off of what we have, then that would be awesome. But it's really a lot of just don't hold on to hope. Just do it because you love it, not because you're making money from it. Making money's cool because like you have to pay bills and live and everything. But in the end, like, it should be about the music overall and not the money.
Absolutely. Do you think having a lot of friends in your local scene and also just in the industry across the board gives you kind of an advantage or some insight into things that other bands that are starting out might not have?
I'd say that we're very lucky to know the people that we do. And I'm very lucky to know all them as well, because a lot of them are like some of the closest people to me. I guess I would use that word. Yes, we do kind of have an advantage from knowing these people, but I wouldn't even say it's just from knowing them, because like we could be making like the worst music possible, and if they don't like the music, they won't like put us on the shows that they are, or book us in places they don't want us to be at and everything. So it's just a matter of like, I'd say that when it comes to knowing people in the, like, I'm putting this in quotations, industry, in the end, like, that's whatever. Like, you can know someone who owns like a really good label with a lot of good bands, and that doesn't mean they're gonna like put you on their label or anything. You can just be mega homies and just make the music that you want to make, and they'll support it no matter what. But for like, I'd say that like we're very lucky to know the people that we do, and are able to play with bands that we love and become friends with those people and everything. I don't want to say that we have like a quote unquote advantage in a way, because it's not like we're signing to Equal Vision like right off the bat or anything, or some kind of big major like label like Epitaph or something like that. It's really just a matter of like, be cool to people, make friends because you want to, make the music that you want to because you love it, and you can accomplish things that way. It kind of bums me out that some people will just take that and run with it and use it as like as a tool to just get higher in the quote unquote industry and just use it for gain and everything. It's really just like, make friends with people that are cool, make music that you love making, and good things will more than likely come your way because you're just friends with people overall. But yeah.
Absolutely. Is it important for you guys to try and build connections with other bands that might be starting out as you guys solidify yourselves more in the scene to like help build connections and help support other people?
Yeah. So the one thing that I definitely want people to know is that you need to support your local scene no matter what. We're very lucky to know the people that we do and become friends with people who are also starting bands. Definitely, like my friends' bands that are new, like I definitely would love to play with them and support them no matter what, because the scene is all about community and making friends and supporting each other. So definitely, that's all. That's like the long and short of it, is just support the local scene no matter what. Like, they're the ones that keep people coming to your shows. They support you no matter what. Just be cool to people, they'll be cool to you, and just support the scene no matter what.
Yeah, that seems very important to
Yeah.
Divine Right, since the way you like met a lot of the people that you know now
Exactly,
is
yep.
by going to these shows. So that's what's up
Yeah.
there, I say. I guess I'm also curious what's next for you guys. I know we talked about booking more shows.
Mhm.
Are you guys writing, recording more music, or just getting comfortable
Yeah.
doing early shows?
We're definitely like taking it slow, I guess. The reception that we've had since we dropped the EP has been more than any of us thought would happen, really. And I'm grateful for if anyone's listened to it. I really appreciate it, seriously, because we worked really hard on it. I think for future plans, we have a few shows that are unannounced. We have some shows that are announced, some shows that are not announced yet. We're doing a run in like late August. Doing some shows in the fall. I think we're gonna try to do a split with a friends band in like, we haven't really set a date yet. Probably like a late fall, early winter, late winter, something like that. It won't be anytime soon at all. But we have like song ideas that we'll send to the band chat, whether it's like lyrics that I wrote or like riffs that Zach and Mikey are making. But right now, I think we're just getting comfortable with what we have, doing whatever kind of physical media we can for the EP that's out right now, and then hopefully like maybe early next year have a new EP out or something like that.
Absolutely. That sounds like a good timeline.
Yeah.
And I loved that you guys put out cassettes. I think physical media and preserving it is very important.
That was the first run that we did at the Magnitude show back in February. We did Bitter Melody from like I think it's Hickory, I believe. They are from North Carolina, but they pressed cassettes for us, which was really kind of them. But because we didn't have any physical media out for the Magnitude show, we made like 5 DIY cassettes and those sold out in like 5 minutes, which was
awesome.
which is pretty sick.
Where did the name Divine Right come from?
I think it was Mikey that came up with it. I'm pretty sure. I think we were throwing out band names, and he said that one, and it just stuck. I think it's from the Repentance song, "The Divine Right of Tyrants." I'm pretty sure that's where he got it from. But like Divine Right is like a whole like Wikipedia article about. I'm not even sure what it's about actually, so I will be not talking about that. But I'm pretty sure it's from that X Repentance X song, "The Divine Right of Tyrants." Just because it sounded cool.
It does sound cool.
Thank you.
Were there any other names that almost were it?
Yeah. I can talk about that one. The project that we were going to do with Reese was called Visceral, or like X Visceral X, and we were gonna I threw out that we should just do that one, but they said, like it's whatever. And then Mikey threw out that one, and we're like, oh, that's sick. So there's only really one name, really. There probably was more, but I can't off the top of my head think of what they were because I guess they just weren't that good.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned earlier a guy coming up to you who had just claimed Edge like very recently.
Yeah.
And are there any other standout stories of fan interactions like that?
It's kind of funny that, I don't know, like calling them fans is like so funny to me. I don't know why. I've definitely like made jokes about being recognized at shows and stuff just because it's like, I guess some good background is that I have a twin brother. So people will think that he's me at shows. And really the one way that we like differentiate each other is like, oh, one of us is straight edge and one isn't. But he's definitely had people, even at in the Halloween costume contest era, like he would be, I think the one that comes to mind is that he was in line for Always in Asheville and someone walked by and was like, yo, Halloween costume contest. And we were just geeking about that. And someone came up to me at a show like a month ago, outside of it was Slaughter Beach Dog in Charlotte, and they were like, Halloween costume contest, and I was like, yeah, man. And then he showed up at our show a month later, which is pretty sick. Nice guy. I forget what his name was, but he was such a nice guy. But it happens a little more often than you think, probably. I got recognized at work like last week. I think his name was Philip. He was like, "Hey, are you in a band?" I'm like, "Yes." And he was like, "Okay, I recognize you because you have a twin, but like, I knew this and that, and that was so funny to me." My coworkers were laughing about it after he left. It was kind of goofy. I went to the Drain show last week, and a couple people recognized me, and some kid next to me during Terror Set came to our first show in Columbia, which was pretty sick. Now, oh wait, I have a funny one actually. I was on my break at work, and I was Brandon and his partner, Brandon from Your Spirit Dies, for context. He came into my shop, and on my break we chatted for a little bit, and some like punk kid walks by us, and I'm wearing my No Cure shirt, and he's like, "Yo man, I love your No Cure shirt." I'm like, "Oh, thanks man." And he's like, "Yeah, I just saw them." And then I was like, "Oh, he's sick." And then he walked away, and I was like, "Wait a second." And he circled back around, and I was like, "Hey, what show were you at?" And he was like, "I was at the Columbia one the other day." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I played that show." And so did Brandon also. It was so funny, and we got to talking with him for like a few minutes, and he was such a nice guy. I forget what his name was too. I'm very bad with names, unfortunately. But yeah. I think every time I get like recognized about being in Divine Right, I message to the group chat. I'm like, "Yo, getting recognized at the gig," as a joke. Or Zach will also be in like some city somewhere, and someone will think that he's me. It's kind of goofy all the time.
And you're kind of used to that because of making music for so long.
Yeah.
But what does that feel like when someone's like, "I know you from that thing," or like, "I drove to go see you"?
Like the first thing I do is like laugh about it, and I'm like, "Thanks, man. It means a lot. Seriously." Like I think I'm just like very awkward with first interactions with people, which is unfortunate, especially being the vocalist in a band. May I add, and I also may add that I am like not that good at talking on stage either. The first, like, obviously the first thing I do is say like, "Thank you. I really appreciate like you for even like checking out the music in the first place." But yeah, like it's a fun thing to happen. Though my friends will be around and it'll happen, and we just like laugh about it, and I'm like, "Yep," because I don't. It's such an awkward thing to happen, but it's sweet overall, and I really appreciate people for just taking the time to even be like, "Hey, I like your band."
That's very awesome. Now I've got a couple of questions about you guys' shows.
Cool.
Do you guys have any pre-show rituals or post-show rituals, like anywhere that you have to go eat after a show, or like?
I will drink a Shirley no matter what. I think that's at every show I go to, actually. Usually, what have we done after our first shows? I think we go to Cookout every time. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. But I think that's like, I think I've been doing that for like so long. It's not even associated with Divine Right at all.
What's your Cookout order?
Big double burger tray with cheese and ketchup, Cajun fries, hush puppies, a cheerwine, an extra side of chicken nuggets, and some Cookout sauce.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
There's always something silly going on at a cookout.
Ah, dude. All the time. Honestly.
You ever had any strange cookout experiences?
Not strange, I don't think. I think every cookout I've gone to, I believe, like everybody's been cool. Yeah, no, I don't think I've had like bad interactions necessarily. Like they usually just do their thing and then give me my order. I think only one time in my life did my card decline, and I drove off, and they had to run out. But, "Hey, your card declined." I was like, "Oh." So that was embarrassing. That was about it, really.
Something I've noticed about cookout is the more dry or hostile the interaction, the better the food is.
Oh yeah, no. If they're mean to you, if they're giving you an attitude, it's gonna be like the best thing you've ever eaten. It's kind of the same thing with coffee shops, I will say, since we were talking about this earlier. Like, if the barista is like has a blank face, has not a care in the world, no smiles at all, you know you're about to get like the best latte that you've ever had in your life. And that actually happened to me today. So
that's beautiful. Do you find that you use your personal coffee shop employment experience while gauging the validity of other lattes?
I think so, yeah. I think I just kind of put myself in their place, and I'm like, I know exactly what they're going through. Like, I know you have to deal with ridiculous people most times of the day. I know what it's like to have to explain that our traditional macchiatos are not the same as Starbucks style. I wish I had a tip jar for that. I tip them no matter what. I think any place where you can tip, I tip no matter what, because like service people definitely go through a lot more than a lot of other people, I would say.
So you guys mainly have been doing shows in the Carolinas. Do you guys have roots anywhere else? Anywhere else that you have a lot of people that you want to be performing in?
Well, I forget who was born there. I think Zach was born in New York, and like Zach and Mikey have like New York like roots and everything, so they have friends up there. Zach lived in LA for a while, so he has friends over there. So either one of those places, we'd love to make our way over there. For the 4-day run we're doing that's not announced yet, we're really only doing Virginia, both Carolinas and Tennessee, so we're not really going out that far, but I'm hoping that in the future we can make our way up through what's a good example? Like the Twin Cities, New York. I think we're gonna try to go to Florida, because we have a lot of friends in Florida bands. Really just wherever will have us, if we can make our way over there if we can get off work and stuff like that. Of
course, a lot of East Coast cities.
Oh, yeah,
any West Coast dreams?
I'd love to go to California. I've never been outside of the Midwest personally. Have I? Am I classifying Oklahoma as the Midwest? Oklahoma's the farthest I've been, and it was whatever, really. I'd love to go to like Washington State and California, and Colorado has a pretty good hardcore scene also.
Interesting.
There's a good hardcore scene everywhere, I think, actually. So I'd love to just go wherever will have us, because if we're lucky enough to make our way out there, then we should savor it.
Absolutely. You've been making music for a while. Do you feel like you've seen the scene evolve over time?
That's kind of difficult to answer, because whenever I did start going to shows, I didn't drive, and I didn't have a lot of friends that were going to shows. Like my first show, my dad took me to. Then after that, my mom or my dad dropped me off at whatever.
Dedication.
Exactly. And then I started. Whenever I became acquainted with Brandon from Your Spirit Dies, whenever he was in his old band Remembrance, I would ride with him to shows, or my mom would drop me off and he would drive me home, and then we just got more acquainted with that. I didn't go to a lot of shows in like the Charlotte area. I didn't start going to shows in the Charlotte area to like 2018 probably, because that was whenever we started driving officially, and then I wasn't scared to get like drive that far or anything. It was that Asheville, Spartanburg, Greenville, and Columbia was kind of where I frequented. I don't really frequent Spartanburg anymore, really. Asheville, it depends. They have like their own kind of scene up there. It's like it really ranges. I think they do a lot of indie stuff, a lot of punk stuff. If a hardcore type bill comes through, then it's like, wow, in Asheville, I'm kind of shocked by it. I'd say really, I think the ways that it's evolved is just, it's really hard to pinpoint, because Zach will tell me stories about Charlotte, Fayetteville, etc. shows in the mid 2010s, and I'm like, wow, I hate that I missed that, because I just wasn't able to like go to that many shows at the time because of my limits of driving and everything. It kind of bums me out also, because the Spindale, North Carolina scene that I had like started out going to whenever they had a small venue there, that just like faded away because the venue closed and they just stopped doing shows there altogether. So I would have loved to have seen that scene grow, which is unfortunate. The Charlotte scene, however, I have seen grow for the past like 6 years. A lot of bands come and go. A lot of my friends' bands are from that area, and they still make music now. Even South Carolina, like Columbia, Greenville area, like seeing that those scenes grow, specifically Greenville. The Greenville hardcore scene has grown so much over the past few years. It's crazy. If I can give a quick shout out, Jose. He is grinding so hard to get a lot of bands coming through there, and really, I think any time a band that we love plays in Greenville, they pass it on to other bands. But hey, you need to play in Greenville, South Carolina, because kids will show out for it. Yeah, so like the scene's evolved a lot, I would say. I'm very happy to see a lot of the change that it's been through. Yeah.
Where do you think it's going in the future?
Hopefully up, like way more than it's ever been. I could see the Greenville scene being the way that it is right now for a long time. Other places like Columbia and Charlotte and the Raleigh area and Asheville, I don't think those scenes are going to go away anytime soon. I just hope that people will attend shows, feel a spark in them, start a band, and let the process repeat.
Would you just like encourage people to start bands if they feel like it, try it out?
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it kind of goes off what I was saying before. Like, don't start a band because you think it's cool or because you'll make money off of it. Whatever passion you're feeling inside you, just pick up an instrument, learn it, and just start a band with your friends. Even if it's bad, just do that. Make some music. If that band ends, make another one. Just go to shows, start bands, make friends, be cool, etc.
Words to live by.
Words to live by.
What kind of other artistic media do you enjoy and consume?
What do? I watch, obviously, like stuff on Hulu, Max, and like Netflix and whatever. A lot of YouTube. I'm like the epitome of the I need my YouTube while I eat. I'm the epitome of that because I really do. Me and my partner started Bridgerton last night, and it's pretty sick so far. My favorite show is Twin Peaks, if that says anything about me.
That's also my favorite show.
We're trying to finish that, but like the episodes are so long, and I've already seen it like 10 times. I just mentioned to you earlier that Smiling Friends is probably like one of my favorites right now because it's so goofy. What do I have? Letterboxd.
What's the top 4?
Let's double check. Actually, let me pop that.
I love the facts and figures.
This is probably gonna be embarrassing. Actually, I'm very much exposing myself right now. We got.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. We got the Blues Brothers, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Halloween 1978, and Licorice Pizza.
That's beautiful.
Right now, but I have like I call everything my favorite movie. Honestly, I unironically gave the SpongeBob SquarePants movie like 5 stars recently, and I'm not wrong about that. I don't want to argue about it either.
All media is beautiful.
Other than that, I'm a big vinyl head when it comes to music. Excuse me. Trying to think of what my most recent purchase was. The Balmora EP they released last year. I got that on vinyl recently. I picked up some stuff at LDB Fest this year. Artistic media.
What are your most listened to records?
Of all time?
Of all time.
I can be accurate about this, actually. Let me, while we're speaking right now, I will pop open Last FM.
Beautiful.
And I can tell you exactly what I've listened to the most. My number 1 most listened to album is the Eternal Sunshine soundtrack. Depressing.
That's beautiful, I think.
Birdie by Slaughter Beach Dog. Suburbia by the Wonder Years. Home Like No Place Is There by the Hotelier. Songs to Scream at the Sun by Have Heart. A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Erie. Perfecting Loneliness by Jets of Brazil. I think it's kind of ironic. I really only listed 1 hardcore record. Like, I listen to a lot of things outside of hardcore. Like hardcore is not even what I like listen to the most, honestly.
So why hardcore if you listen to like every other genre?
I think I've just always found an escape from going to shows, listening to hardcore and metalcore. I think most of the time I just really need a break from loud things because of like I don't know, I listen to loud things in my job all the time, so I need something more soft, acoustic based to listen to later.
Eternal Sunshine soundtrack.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's whenever I'm depressed. Um, but when it comes to hardcore, just I've always found an escape through it, through going to shows and making friends and listening to records. And I think I don't even want to say that I like a certain genre more. I think all genres I love are kind of hand in hand, neck and neck, really. Hardcore is just the one that I've always found an escape through, I would say.
When did it start for you, like the collecting physical records or just really, really being into music? Not even just like wanting to make it, but just loving it.
I mean, I like grew up on classic rock. Like if we're talking about me in elementary school to like early middle school, it's like classic rock country. I was one of those kids. It wasn't really until like what was my first show? My dad used to play in bands, but that was like technically my first quote unquote show, I guess. My first concert, I believe, was the Country Music Festival in 2004. But if we're not counting Fest, my first concert was Keith Urban in Greenville, South Carolina, on November 18th, 2005. Not November 18th, November 20th, I'm pretty sure. It was November 2005. I'm not a history book. And it wasn't until like 7th or 8th grade that I really listened to like metalcore for the first time. I think Holden from Your Spirit Dies is the one that got me into anything. So I have him to thank for a lot of this. He got me into We Came as Romans, For the Fallen Dreams, The Wonder Years, a lot of that stuff. Like I really have Holden to thank for where I'm at today. And I don't really tell him that often, but I probably should because it changed my life completely. I wouldn't say I started collecting physical media until I think I had always like found like old classic rock records at Goodwill with my grandma or something like that and brought home. I didn't really have a record player. I just collected them because it was fun, and that 8 tracks and cassettes and CDs and stuff like that. I don't think I took like collecting vinyl seriously until like freshman year. I'm pretty sure because I had like what did I have? Binga's Notion. What did I have? Real Friends. Really like a lot of like Tumblr era, like hardcore, pop punk, etc. I definitely had on vinyl, but I didn't really have like a decent collection until like a few years later, and today also. And the amount of money I've spent on records over the past like 10 years is not good.
Detrimental.
Yeah.
Again, this was DJ Cherry Headache with WKNC 88.1 FM HD1 Raleigh, joined by Josh from Divine Right. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us. Any closing thoughts or statements?
I appreciate you for bringing me on. I'm not like the best at talking on a microphone, obviously, but I appreciate you for bringing me on. Thanks for bringing up things that I didn't think you were going to bring up. If you've listened to Divine Right, thank you. Keep an eye out for shows and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.